Center for Disease Control has on 7th May 2021 confirmed 39 new cases of COVID-19 on Nigeria. The breakdown indicates that Lagos has the highest figure of 23 new cases, followed by FCT, Kano, and Zamfara, with 4 new cases each. Akwa Ibom, Gombe, Nasarawa, and Plateau states recorded one case each. Nigeria has a total of 165,340 confirmed cases of coronavirus, with 155,454 patients discharged and 2,065 deaths recorded. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has created additional 989 polling units in Jigawa State in its ongoing exercise of expanding access to polling units across the country. INEC National Commissioner Festus Okoye stated this while inspecting newly created polling units in the state to ensure they are in conformity with the Commission's guidelines. Ibrahim Bellagunda reports.
Currently, Nigeria has 119,973 polling units established in 1993 with over 50 million registered voters. The increase in the number of registered voters to over 80 million, congestion and distance among others, necessitated the call by stakeholders for INEC to increase polling units across the country. INEC National Commissioner Festus Okoye said his visit to Jigawa was to inspect the creation of additional polling units and ensure that they are in conformity with the guidelines agreed with stakeholders for flawless election come 2023.
We promised the Nigerian people that we are going to convert all the existing voting points and voting point settlements into full-fledged polling units or into standalone polling units. The INEC office in Jigawa State and all the local government offices, they have done some background work in relation to this. So I'm here to confirm that they have followed all the necessary guidelines that was given by the Commission in relation to relocating existing polling units and also making sure that we keep polling units in places that deserve them, and we move polling units to unserved and underserved areas.
Civil society and residents of affected polling units commended the decongestion and additional polling unit creation.
I think this is a welcoming development. We spent, over a decade agitating and advocating for INEC to increase some polling units due to congestion and overcrowding in bottom point and polling units. So I think this will help, and it will help in smooth running of the election exercise on the election day, and it will reduce crashes and congestion in the polling units.
The INEC guideline states that no polling units should have more than 1,000 and fewer than 750 registered voters. In Dutse, Ibrahim Bellagunda, NTA News.
The ongoing infrastructural development in Kafanchan, which is meant to ease movement of goods and services in addition to first lift to the community, has been applauded by the Emir of Jama'ah, Alhaji Muhammadu Isa Muhammadu. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports that the Emir was speaking in Kaduna when he led some members of the Emirate Council on a visit to Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai.
With the coordinated urban renewal project making steady progress across the state, Kafanchan is gradually wearing a new look. Network of roads, including drainages within and outside the ancient town, are being reconstructed. Hence a thank you visit by the traditional rulers and his council members. The governor asked the traditional rulers to continue to preach and maintain peace, particularly among the youth, for development to strive.
I would like to inform you that the State Executive Council has approved a bill to create Kafanchan Municipal Authority, the department of the government, of the state government, that will ensure that the investments we made in modernizing Kafanchan, from the township roads to the markets and other investments that we're going to put in, are properly managed centrally.
In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
There is no longer any hiding place for human traffickers in Nigeria, no matter how highly placed or connected they are. Director General National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, said this when she had audience with management of the Nigerian Television Authority in Abuja. Adebola Buxley Sunday reports.
For the Director General of NAPTIP, Himan Sulaiman Ibrahim, the largest television network in Africa NTA is the best place to be if our agency must reach all parts of Nigeria.
Our citizens have become commodities for sale.
Her plea to the NTA Director General, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, is to assist the agency in fulfilling its mandate of coordinating all nations' crime prevention and stamp out human trafficking and uplift the vulnerable from exploitative tendencies.
We don't want to wait for people to become victims. We want to come strongly from the preventive angle. That's what our renewed vision as an agency represents.
We must collaborate with each other.
The NTA DG, who described human trafficking as a pandemic, said the fight against the societal ill is the business of all.
It can lead to slave labor, it can lead to prostitution, it can also lead to death, in the hands of harvesters of human organs. So it's important that Nigerians get to know the risks that they run, in going out of Nigeria at all costs.
Both heads of the two government agencies agreed to set up a four-man committee to fast-track the implementation of their collaboration.
We're going to intensify in an aggressive and disruptive public enlightenment campaign to ensure that our people are fully aware of all the danger signs and they're able to kind of respond, and also key players in this fight against human trafficking.
The NAPTIP head said the agency will always be ahead of those who are bent on human trafficking and other similar human rights violations in the country. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
President Buhari is saddened by the death of Hajia Aisha Jumai Al-Hassan Mahmad Taraba, who was Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development during his first term in office. The Nigerian mission in Cairo, Egypt, announced the passing of former minister and senator. President Buhari said the demise of notable politician Aisha Jumai Al-Hassan has left many saddened, both in office and outside and out of the office. Her concern for the education of the girl child, especially those of government girls' secondary school, Chibok, who were abducted by Boko Haram terrorists, shone through. Her death is a huge loss, not only to the female gender activist community, but to the country as a whole. Our condolence to her family, friends, National Assembly, and government and people of Taraba State. Now, NTA gets broadcast rights from Continental Mini Football Tournament. Details of this and more with Badi Adele on Sports Update.
The local organizing committee of the Second African Mini Football Confederations Nations Cup has named the Nigerian Television Authority as the official broadcaster for the tournament. Nigeria won the bid to host the competition in 2020, but it was postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic and will now hold from 8th to 17th July 2021 at the largest sports resorts, Ibadan, Oyo State. Meanwhile, the second round of the 2020-2021 season of the Nigeria Professional Football League begins this Saturday with Jigawa Golden Stars and Lobby Stars locking horns at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna. On Sunday, Rivers United host Dakada. Warrior Wolves are at home to Kano Pillars with Enyimba and Enugu Rangers going head-to-head. Kwara United currently top the league standings with 36 points ahead of Kano Pillars, who also have the same points, while Akwa United are third with 34 points. Meanwhile, already relegated Sheffield United will be looking to build some momentum ahead of their campaign next season in the Championship when they take on Crystal Palace in the Premier League at Bramall Lane, with the match live on NTA Network from 2:30 Saturday afternoon. In other fixtures, Manchester City welcome Chelsea to the Etihad in what will be a dress rehearsal for the All-English Champions League final, with a win confirming City's status as Premier League champions. Liverpool and Southampton will clash in the last game for Saturday, while Aston Villa entertain Europa League finalists Manchester United on Sunday, just as Arsenal and West Brom will trade tackles. To tennis, all is now set for the women's final of the Madrid Open on Saturday, with world number 1 Ashley Barty and Orina Sabalenka facing off in what will be a rematch of the Stuttgart Open final. Top seed Barty claimed her spot in the final after defeating wildcard Paulo Badosa 6-4, 6-3, while her Belarusian opponent defeated 6-time Grand Slam quarter-finalist Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-2, 6-3 to reach the final. With Sports Update, Badi Adeleye, NTA News.
That is the panorama, but before we go, remember to follow us on all our social media platforms. Let's begin with NTA's Rep promo.
You can get more news and updates on www.nta.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News, and also stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Also remember to watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Drive in the rain?
It depends on the velocity of the rain.
Don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking, child, and issue.
Actually, cool. The idea that is
can do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of.
Congratulations, you were able to sign Timo Werner from RB Leipzig.
So you take water before your workout.
People have used that phone, using TikTok to do it like.
Should I go for test?
A lot of people don't even have resources.
I'm Cecil, and this is the Medley Show on NTA.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Now, when we get to understand this thing, we get to find out that as we grow older in life, certain things happen. One of them is not being so healthy. Remember, I didn't say sickness. Not being so healthy because we move from one realm to the other. Cancer is one of such things we do not know how it happens. We do not know what causes it, but somehow it's beginning to permeate the human realm and causing a lot of havoc. And do we allow it? The answer is no. Because if you look at the word cancer alone, there is a can inside it. That means we can survive it. Today we're going to look at cancer, and especially as it concerns women. Breast cancer, cervical cancer, a whole lot of it. And I have people who are not just cancer survivors, but they are cancer crusaders. Trust me, they'll be bearing their mind for you today. I'll let them introduce themselves. Let's start from, when I was small, we used to do tumbon. Okay, so that.
Hello, good morning. My name is Nina Marie Opene. I'm a 42-year-old mother of 2. I work in the civil service, and I am a breast cancer survivor. Okay. I'm still in treatment anyways, but I am a survivor.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's always beautiful to be here with you on the conversation on the largest television network. My name is Halima Usman. I'm here to give support to Lizzie and, of course, to my very good friends here.
All right. My name is Chestnut Milo Dorothy Nuhu Akenova. I'm a breast cancer survivor and a feminist.
Okay, she says she's a feminist, and all of us here are womanists. And one way or the other, I tell people that cancer is not just what you feel on the skin. There are a lot of cancers in our lives. It could be your emotional problem, it could be your family problem, it could be your office problem, whatever it is, it becomes cancerous. But then I always say remove the bad parts, take the good one, which is the can. Yes, we can. Let's see this feature. When we come back, we'll talk in details.
Cancer ranks top on the chart as a leading cause of death and an important barrier to increasing life expectancy in every country of the world. According to the World Health Organization in 2019, it is the second leading cause of death in 112 of 183 countries, affecting people before the age of 70 and ranking third and fourth in 23 other countries. In Nigeria, cancer is responsible for 72,000 deaths with an estimated 102,000 cases annually, with cases varying by gender. For men, the most common types of cancer are prostate, colorectal, and non-Hodgkin lymphoma. On the other hand, for women, they are breast cancer, cervical cancer, and ovarian cancer. Breast cancer affects people in Nigeria, with 12% of the disease representing new cases and 25% of all cancers in women. Cells in healthy breast tissue can become cancerous and can spread to other parts of the body. Symptoms include a large lump, swelling, pain in the breast, bloody discharge of the nipple, the skin peeling on your breast, an inverted nipple, and so on. There are also different types of breast cancer, such as invasive ductal carcinoma and angiosarcoma. Although they generally have less of it, men have breast tissue just like women do and can get breast cancer too. However, it is a rare occurrence. Cervical cancer is a type of cancer that starts in the cervix. The cervix connects the uterus to the vagina. Many women with cervical cancer do not realize they have the disease early on because it usually does not cause any visible symptoms until the late stages. Typical cervical cancer symptoms are unusual bleeding, such as in between periods, after sex, or after menopause, vaginal discharge that looks or smells different than usual, pain in the pelvis, needing to urinate more often, pain during urination, and so on. Most cervical cancer cases are caused by the human papilloma virus, also known as HPV. Nevertheless, cervical cancer is treatable if caught early. The 4 main treatments are surgery, radiation therapy, chemotherapy, and targeted therapy. Whether from genetics, lifestyle choices, environment, or a combination of all, cancer can affect anyone regardless of their background. There is no known cure for the disease as of today. However, one can reduce one's risk to it by leading a healthy lifestyle. Eat healthy, exercise frequently, and get regular medical checkups. Early detection is always key in fighting cancer. Have you done your self-breast examination today?
All right, that question for me is very paramount. It is pertinent. It is important we examine ourselves. And I may not be physically, a carrier, but one way or the other, we have all been affected. If it's not your family member, it could be your friend, it could be your colleague. One way or the other, you may have lost life. You may have someone who is living with it. I have two of my friends here who are survivors. Incidentally, their voices are very loud. But I've had stories. A lot of times, it doesn't really sink in. Let me start with you. How was it like for you? How did you notice? How was it revealed, so to speak? Well, I just got home one evening, and it was during hammer time for December. And usually the skin gets dry and itchy during that December period. So when I got home and I felt itchy on my breast, I just assumed, okay, this brow must have been too tight and, the weather is too dry. So I gave it a good scratch. And then there was a little burst on the nipple, and I felt some coldness. And then when I checked my T-shirt, I had lines of dark brown, stains. And I have been a sexuality educator for years, so I knew the implication of a discharge that is brownish in color from the nipple. So my world just came to a halt that second, that moment. That's how the journey began for me. Then I had to see a doctor, I had to contact an older feminist friend, who is also an advocate in the field of breast cancer. And she's the one who said, look, Dorothy, you've got to pursue this aggressively. I think you should. I would like to know the aggressiveness and what it all involved. But let's see. I noticed you were shaking your head.
Sorry, I'm being traumatic, but I can understand it. So mine was during lockdown last year, August. Okay, I think 2 weeks before that, my right shoulder had been, this is my right one, my right shoulder had been hurting. And I told my husband, and he said, you probably slept wrongly. And I'm like, okay, but it shouldn't take...
Right shoulder hurting?
Yeah, that was
this is
for
the
me.
First time I ever noticed.
That's what I said. So everybody has their own...
Present.
Then one day I took off my bra, and my nipple had gone in, like it had collapsed. So I was like, okay, this is not normal. Then I've read other people's stories, and just seeing there and then, you just know that there's something wrong. I didn't have a discharge, but I just knew that this is not normal. There's something wrong. Yes, it inverted. Next thing, I do an exam, and it wasn't really fun. But I was like, there's something that is really not right, because you do have those hard this thing. I went for a mammogram. Nobody sent me. I went for a mammogram. They now called me, and you just keep trying to say, okay, this is not it. So the particular breast was dense. They couldn't see through it. The other one was clear. Couldn't see, but there was something inside. So I had to go for a biopsy. I still kept saying, and the doctors were like, oh, no, it's nothing. That's the thing. Everybody was like, even when they took it out, oh, it's nothing, it's nothing. Until I got my results in August.
I think they tried to give us a soft landing, don't they?
And your brain just tells you, okay, it is something else. It is something else. It is benign. Until August, I heard it. I was trying to be strong. The next thing I thought about, the doctor now goes, it's cancer. Yeah. Okay. It was a horrible 2 weeks of my life, because I couldn't cry myself to sleep. I had to stay awake until I am physically tired, so that I just sleep at once. Because you try and sleep, in between falling asleep, you now think of, you're going to die. You think of all the people you remember and who died. And, we all associated cancer with death. I cried. Then I started talking to different people. That was what gave me peace. I sent it to my uncle in America, who's a doctor, a friend who's a doctor. And they said one thing that calmed me down. As you grow older, these things happen. And it was stage 1, early stage. You can beat it, you can this one. But you know, someone was like, you're so young. I started crying again because I was like, so what am I going to do? I have 2 young kids. One just turned 7, the other one is going to be 4 end of the year. So, you know, those are the thoughts that go through your mind. I lost my mom when I was 15, so I didn't want this to happen again. So, yes, it took a rough getting used to. But after a while, you create your own stories. I spoke to someone, and they said sometimes what aggravates it or increases it is your state of mind. And I kept myself busy researching. I found second opinions. I didn't go to just one doctor. When I wasn't comfortable with the course of treatment, I spoke to another doctor. I found another doctor. So, you know, speaking and reading and talking about it kind of gave me peace. So I did my lumpectomy because the first doctor said I should take everything off. You're dealing with losing body parts. I have estrogen-related lobular breast cancer. I've had ovarian cyst. I've had fibroid. I had my first child with fibroid. So these are precursors for me to having breast cancer. And I think I'm lucky because it could have shown up in my ovaries, which I wouldn't have known until it would really become bad. So I think I'm lucky it even came out in the breast. So I did my lumpectomy. I just finished my chemo on the 8th of March. And I'm due for radiotherapy. I've started hormone treatment. And there are days you cry, there are days you feel sad, there are days you remember. But you look up and you realize that everybody's battling one thing or the other. If this is my own, I just move forward with it. And I've met women that have gone through worse things. Some lost their husbands while they were receiving treatment, and they've come out stronger. And now that we are aware, it's not as frightening as we thought it would be, because the word cancer tends to connote you're gone, but there are lots of people living with it, and
I think
we
the
look good.
reason is because people never were outspoken as we are now. Like 10 years ago, when I discovered mine, people weren't talking.
Yeah.
You know, people were all in hiding.
You've been on with it for 10 years.
Yes, it's over 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I know that 10 years, now it's still bad. You know, people get it. They don't want to share it.
Yes.
They want to discuss it under the
as if it's a stigma.
Yes, as if it's your fault.
It's not.
I mean, it's nothing.
I think it's just that attitude of this is the end of the road for this one is going to die. I've seen family and even partners react that way when their wives are diagnosed.
Yeah.
They just give up, and then that support that the woman needs is withdrawn because they feel like they're pouring water into a basket, and they don't end up giving support to the girls or to the women. And sometimes you talk and it makes sense, but sometimes you talk and talk and talk, and then they never come out of it. So it's just the attitude, generally speaking, that people give up on other people. And that's why our stories and voices are very important. We need to let people know that imagine if somebody gave up on me 10 years ago. All the great things I've done since 10 years ago would not have been done.
That's true.
That's terrible. Even if someone has just one day to impact the world, the person deserves an opportunity. And the people who are passing the sentence on us, they don't know what they are carrying. Many people have died that didn't even have cancer from a diagnosis till now. So all of us are on borrowed time. Let it sink, and that will help us not to be judgmental and to condemn other people.
Now, I would like to know, you talked about support and all of that. How was the support for you? I mean, work-related, family-related. How was it? What was it that happened for you that kept you going up until now?
Well, I'm very fortunate because I work in the field of sexual and reproductive health. And as a feminist, I have alliances across the globe. So I have friends in India. That's where I obtained my treatment and went for follow-up until, recently when people can travel again and then begin to do everything here. In the board, it was also very supportive. I work with a non-governmental organization. That year I was diagnosed. We had just introduced a model in our training for women and girls on cancer. reproductive cancer. So just after doing the module, then I come down with cancer.
Was it because you did the module?
No. But the module prepared me. Because if I have done module for people, then I should be in a good position to show by example what I have written. And that was very encouraging, because the alternative that I was getting pressure around from the church, especially because I'm also an evangelist, is when there is convention, you must go there. When there's Holy Ghost night, you must go there. Just keep going and you will get your miracle one day, you know. And then I sat and thought to myself, after educating hundreds of women, then they come and greet me all skeleton smelly. Then they're going to ask me a question. How come I put that information out for other people to use and could not use it for yourself? That just switched the thing roundabout for me and put me in a fighting mode, and that's the mode I've been on. Family, I've been very, very a handful kind of person. I've given them tough time. I divorced my husband. I married a younger man. The family disowned me, you know. So I expected that the younger man was going to stick with this situation, but no, he just couldn't cope with it. I understand very well, you know. So I had to pick the pieces. Eventually got reconciled with my born-again pastor husband, you know. So
that's nice.
It's been good support network, and that's very crucial, because if everybody who comes around you is speaking life into your body, giving you courage to move on, if you see their smiles, you know, it helps you to move on day after day. You know, Marie, you talked about, you know, the fact that these panics and anxieties, they set in. I tell you, they still do. Every time you go for your checkup,
you're like, oh Lord.
You are waiting for the results, you know, and sometimes they are misdiagnosing and etc., putting you in panic mode. I have lost like 10 kg in 2 weeks before because I got a result that I wasn't prepared for. So it's a long journey, and what you need is that support system that can keep encouraging you. Say, you know, you fought it when it was bad. You can still fight it now. Exactly. You know. Yeah.
You know, when she was talking, I just remembered. So I did this cervical cancer test. Yesterday, I was talking to Nina about it. So when I did that cervical cancer test, you understand, that was in 2015 we started. After 6 months, you go for the second and the third. They were doing, I think, they were doing a research. So I went. They didn't tell me the result, the first result, until after the second one. So that was when they told me that you have trace of cancer. Oh my God. Okay, so I just felt that, okay, the end has come.
It has a way of
like, it's time to write your will and just bid the world goodbye, you know. But I think, I don't know, maybe because I'm a fighter myself. So at a point, I started asking myself and started searching and reading and asking myself, so if truly this thing turns out to be what it is suspected to be, and probably I have just few months to live, what happens? So I told myself, well, if that's what's going to happen, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to live the best of my life. I am into charity, which you know I love working with people, helping people. So I told myself, let me just die doing these things that I love to do. So I picked up, I got busy doing those things. And I think somehow that was what helped me. And then I stopped taking certain kinds of food. I stopped eating anything with sugar, stopped taking minerals, anything that has to do with sugar, I cut it down. And I ensure that my food, no matter what I'm eating, has a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits. So I just, it was like you said, a complete change of lifestyle. And I was surprised when I went for the final test. They said it's cleared. I said okay.
They do not diagnose.
And I think that's another problem. Yes. That's another, because you've heard cases of, okay, so for me, my own support, I have lots of friends, and honestly, my family and friends have been fantastic. I have a boss, his name is Charles, my husband's name too is Charles, and he did something great. He had put out his sister's own, so I called him up and said, this is my own problem. So he called my husband too, and explained to him that this is going to be a tough journey, even for you. Men have been known to accuse their wives, because even sleeping with your husband, you don't have that appetite or energy. So he said some men have accused their wives, they've left their wives, they blah blah blah. So somehow, don't know, my husband stuck with me because he doesn't have any choice. It's true.
You are charming.
Thank you. He does. And somehow I feel I have to be cheerful for people around me, because if you're down and whatever, they're going to feel down. And like my husband says, I don't know what to do. I really don't know how you're feeling. I can't explain. And I have lovely friends. I had a friend when I was looking for money, they donated, and one of them said, "Your own job is to get well. Our own job is to find how to get you what you need." My cousins in various countries, it's just been awesome. And with them, it's been funny. Even in my office, the other day, the office was hot. My office is on 10th floor, so those on 10th floor know, not everybody. And I took off my wig, and everybody was, so this is what you look like. Nobody made it weird. I go to my friends' homes. I don't go with my wig. My hair is looking all funny, and there's acceptance. You're like, oh, you look nice. And, it's one of those things.
But
you will
I
get
want
over
to
it.
say, I think Nina is very strong. Sincerely speaking, because when I first heard her story, she actually broke the news to me and said,
because you got tired of explaining to people,
me.
where are you? Why are you wearing this? So you're like, okay, you know what, this is it. And because she's a woman too, I'm using my own story to help other women, because I'm early stage breast cancer. I have estrogen-related lobular breast cancer. I didn't know it was 6 months ago, but I understand it now. And I always tell women, it's not just checking whatever, check your hormonal level. I believe if I checked my hormones, because it's my hormones, I would have figured out that there was something wrong. But nobody tells us. I had a condition. I kept going to the hospital. They kept saying it was this, it was that. Nobody thought to check. This was 3 years ago after I had my child, to check my hormonal level. That's what I think, because it's my hormones that. Now so I'm now taking estrogen blockers. I'm blocking my hormones, because for me, it's the hormones that are causing this thing. So it's just.
A lot of people it could be, but I would like to know what has changed for you, when it comes to your lifestyle. What has changed? Maybe she mentioned something about food. It was you that said it. What has changed for you?
Total lifestyle changes. People have become a priority to me. I mean, I worked in a non-governmental setting, and it's about people, but it was very clinical kind of work I was doing. But now I'm more interested in the people. I want to know how you are. I want to know how you feel, It's more, I believe now in connections.
Yes.
I want to connect with whoever crosses my path. And I want to leave something when we meet, so that when you go, you always think, I learned something new from this woman. So it may be an obsession. So I'm into developing projects and programs, and just doing things all over the place that can make impact. And then I've learned to spend time with my family. It was at my diagnosis I was saying, son sits in this part of the house. I didn't even know where son used to sit from. Because I was out there working, I was out traveling and all of that. And of course, I've changed my diet. So the sugars were the first to go.
The sugars are usually a problem.
I'm letting go of the animal protein and vegetables and fruits, especially when they are not cooked. Very important. I make sure that I move my bowel regularly so that toxins are not accumulated in my body. I drink lots of water. And that's something that most people don't do. And if we don't drink water, we can't flush things out. And then I'm an exercise freak. I've always exercised. This has made it, and I still exercise.
Do you exercise?
I had to. I started. So my own story. I'm just 6 months into this journey. So so yes, I get it. But for me, I've learned to do ugu juice. I have drunk every type of juice. I have bowel movement. I have learned to do exercise. Now, unfortunately for me, it was not my thing. I learned it. So today, I watch my steps. You need to. I try to challenge, but as a human being, there are times you fall by the wayside. When you fall by the wayside, your body now tells you, hey, you know this thing. Like last week, I was doing coffee. I like coffee. I like my coffee thick. And I remembered that this thing. So it's
coffee is a no.
Well,
it will depress your system because it mimics fatigue and stress in the body.
Yeah,
and you want your body to optimally function so that you can resist infection. So not only reoccurrence, but also other infections around.
So then I went to see my doctor because after chemo, my mind, I celebrated a party. I just, it took a struggle. It's like when you're at the last end of the race, when you now find out they have reached the race, you're like, I'm taking a holiday. Then my doctor now said, I haven't seen you. I've not scheduled you for whatever, and whatever, you're getting fat again. I went up to 90, so I went back again. I'm now 86. The thing is, I don't look my weight. That's the funny thing. So it crept up on me. And for me, estrogens, the fatter you are, okay, my doctor said peripheral fat increases estrogen. So for me, I have to keep it on the low. I always don't have to feed it. So sugars also an argument because you are supposed to take fruits. Fruits have fructose. It has sugar. So it's a balance, delicate balance.
Maybe we're talking about refined sugar.
Yeah, refined sugars.
Even vegetables.
Yeah, because everybody gives, don't take sugar, don't. So you have to do your research. And I'm like, so someone was like, what don't you eat and what do you? I say, I eat everything. I just make sure I balance it out. I do more vegetables. I have to. More vegetables, more fruits. But I'm not going to cut out sugar from my life. I'm going to deprive myself something. So it's then.
So you still do ice cream?
No. Well, but you're allowed to have a break once in a while. You're not a monk or you're not whatever. You're not. You have to cut yourself some slack. But it's just being disciplined about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just new in the journey. But what has changed for me is I'm doing more. My case was the reverse. Especially with young kids, we'll do this tomorrow. I kept postponing, but now I'm taking my children swimming. I'm doing this. I'm pushing myself out there. I'm coming home tired, and I'm excited about it. I'm no longer as lazy as I used to be, and I'm also reaching out to people. I'm also wanting to have engagements and talks and seeing everybody as somebody to reach out to, because people made this journey easy for me, so I might as well just pay it forward. And I try not to let normal things disturb me. This one did not greet me. This one did not smile at me.
Mindset is important.
No, mindset is, this doctor, because it's normal. This doctor did this to me. I move on to finding a solution instead of dwelling in. It's hard sometimes.
I think survivors are solution finders. Actually,
you have to.
Those who get weighed down are the ones who sit and brood and
Yeah, you can't.
I've seen people who refuse to go back for treatment because doctor talked to her anyhow. Can you imagine that?
Yeah,
because doctors talk to you anyhow because they have this experience where people come and they just vanish into thin air.
Yeah.
They go to seek for prayers on some prayers work, but prayers and faith without
good
action,
works,
timely and appropriate action is zero. We have to back it up with appropriate and timely action. That's the concern of the doctor. Don't just thin out and disappear on them. So they
do not get angry.
That, and they talk to you in a way that sometimes may appear condescending, but they want you to come back. And yet, some women just take it as an offense and they don't go back.
I think this prayer thing for us, I believe in God, man, has whatever, but I think it's more because the cost of cancer treatment is expensive and it is long. We don't have enough equipment. It's okay.
Somehow I think that if I knew this at the beginning, I'd have been defeated in my mind.
Yeah, I know.
If anybody had told me the total cost of what I need to stay alive till I am here now, I would have given up, because there was no way I could have fathomed in my life that I would have that kind of money come in my way. No way. So sometimes I struggle with what to do. Do we let people know, or do we just let them? It's like when
let them find it out.
Find out. The architect or engineer just plays you, before you know it, your millions are gone. So a day at a time. But the important thing is that the resources will always be available. Because life is like that.
Yes, somehow God does not give us a burden that He will not give us enough grace to carry it on. I know one CC Scout once said that the human spirit is stronger than anything that can happen to it. Yes, if we are strong on the inside, we can defeat whatever it is. Sometimes we think we don't have money. With a blink of an eye, the money comes. Let's take this break. When we come back, we'll still have our discussion on cancer.
Back to 2014. I remember I felt a lump on my right breast, but I ignored it because it was silent. It didn't do anything. So, and I remember walking in, never imagined that that would be the beginning of a life change for me. And we proceeded to have the mammogram examination. And she said, "Oh, I feel a lump." And I said, "Yeah, it's been there for a while." And she said, let's just look at it and see what the mammogram says. They did a biopsy, and interestingly, the first report said that it was negative. But I had a very experienced doctor, which matters, and he said, "I am personally going to do this biopsy." So I had to go into the theater again. They did a biopsy, and you know what? When the report came back, it was cancerous. And when I say that, I couldn't say this 5 years ago because I'm celebrating 5 years of being in remission, of being cancer-free. Why did I survive? I survived because in everything that I did from the first time that I was diagnosed, yes, in Nigeria, it was Nigeria that diagnosed me. It was Nigeria that first treated me. So Nigeria has the capacity to save lives.
Okay, so cancer, you just saw a bit of another survivor, Choma. She actually was in the 4th stage. That was big.
Not bad.
It was big. But she was supposed to be here with us. Unfortunately, she's not here. One thing I have learned from her is the strong will, to live. The strong will, just pretty much like you, she has actually demystified it. You don't get to feel this is a death sentence. Of course it's not. And I took out something again from her, which was that it's very important for you to stay close home. Nigeria, she talked about the smoothies, just like you mentioned, that a lot of things we eat in Nigeria are still pretty organic.
Yeah.
So if we can depend on our food, which brings me to talking about what constitutes the smoothie for you. I don't know, you talked about blending the vegetables raw.
Yeah, I do 2 things. I do juices and I do smoothies.
Okay.
Juices because the machine presses out the juice and does not spin it. So there are certain very delicate nutrients that could be destroyed while you blend and power it. But when you extract it by that pressing, those nutrients are preserved. So I do red juices. Red juices are carrots with beetroot.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I add ginger and I add garlic. And then my green juices.
Do you add honey to it?
No, I don't eat. There is diabetes in my family, so I'm also trying not to have to go on that diabetic. So I'm battling.
I'm shaking my head because beetroot is bitter.
No, it's an acquired taste.
It's nice.
After a while, if you acquire, it's an acquired taste.
So for me, green juice is cucumber, the back of watermelon.
Back of watermelon?
Wow. You scrub it with iron sponge and then compress it. Yeah. And then ugu, kale,
parsley,
dandelion. Yeah, dandelion.
Celery.
I put celery sometimes because the flavor.
It is pungent.
If you bring it close to your nose, I mean...
and that's the thing, I find it, so what I do is I have a Nutri blender, so it more or less, I don't take any of my smoothies straight. I have to see all the fibers inside. So I have it pulverizes everything plus the stalk, and so I don't separate. I just put anything that comes, ugu, carrots, this one, that one, pineapple. I mix everything and I drink it. So there are days I have beetroot, there are days I have carrots. Like I said, I just mix and match. And
but I have a minimum of 5 a day of 250 CL.
No, I just
5 to 7 a day.
Oh no, I just make it
of each of the mix.
Yes.
Okay, you blend and put in the fridge, or you.
Surplus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a
it's
good
when
one.
I come to Abuja, then it's in the fridge because, I have to go to a particular eatery where I place order for them. So
yeah,
at 10 o'clock, I go and I pick all of them and I put them in the fridge and they last me to the next day in the morning.
Oh, that's okay. Now, I still want to, relate a little bit more on the, treatment stuff. How regularly, we already talked about the cost, I don't want to mention what it costs, but how regularly do you go for your treatment?
Treatment is the first thing you do. Then the next thing is management. And
what's the difference now, treatment and management?
Okay,
what's the difference?
Treatment starts.
Okay.
Let's say starts after diagnosis. Then you may be on some long-term treatment like the hormonal.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to cut off hormone supply.
Yep.
I was on tamoxifen, and then I did Zoladex injections, which were monthly, and I did those for 5 years.
5 years?
Yes, I did those for 5 years. Because they will tell you first 2 years, and then after 2 years, 1 more year, and then after 1 more year, like that. And so from that, I had 5 years, and I calculated the cost, and I said, hello, I don't need babies anymore. So
just tell me.
Let's get them out. Those eggs. So I took the ovaries out. And then they say you can't keep the uterus when the ovaries are out because apart from the fact that it is risky, uterus never works without the ovaries. So take the two out and then you have peace of mind. Then you don't have to worry that, you need to monitor the cervical cancer or you need to no. So I took everything out. So those are management because we don't want a real occurrence and we don't even want a secondary occurrence because we go around knowing that because we've had cancer before, we can always have another cancer again. So that is a constant thing in our lives. And so management entails ensuring that you are cured, there is no reoccurrence, and there is no secondary occurrence. And after diagnosis is every 3 months, that you get checked because that is the most likely period that it can reoccur. And then the next year you can do twice a year. That's what, I was placed on. And then the third year is a check every year unless you have a complaint. Even if you can't breathe. Sometimes we have catarrh, the nose no go breathe air. Then I go, maybe it is going in my nose. Maybe it is my brain. And then I'm subjecting myself to all that.
Regular catarrh, and then you think it's another form of cancer.
Yes, a friend of mine told me, don't think that because you got cancer, you won't get cough and catarrh again, no. Because this one where they complain all the time like this.
Yeah, I get it.
So he asked me, did you get catarrh and cough before you were diagnosed? And I said, no. And so why is it now that you are? But that is the life. Every day you are in apprehension. And that's why the support network, positive support network is important. I never sit down at home and expect people to come and greet me. Because that's what my people are very good at. They will so pamper you, bring you food, everybody will sit around with them and sorry, if you just move, sorry, if you just stand, sorry. I don't want that. So they come to my house and they call me on phone. We came to your house to greet you. Oh, sorry, I'm at work.
Thank you. All right. You talked about, early menopause coming in with it.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, like I said, I'm still in treatment. So I have 6 months to complete my treatment. I told you I did the lumpectomy. That's instead of removing the whole breast, I removed the portion. Then I did my chemo. I'm now going to do radiotherapy. But
did the chemo affect your hair?
Yes, I don't have hair.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
it's cool. It's cool.
So I yes, it did. It took out my hair, so it's going to take another 3-4 months to come out. But I'm also on hormone therapy, so it's to block. So I'm on tamoxifen. Unfortunately, my doctor has told me I'm going to be on it for 5 years. But 2 years down the line, when I'm premenopausal, I will take the Zolofex. But mine is going to be 3 times a year. 4 times a year, every 3 months.
Instead of 2.
I was on Zoladex every month.
No, mine is. So everybody. That's why I say there's no one treatment for cancer. Each person is personalized. There's something my doctor did called staging of the cancer. They need to know what stage. Then there's a protocol they followed. So that's basically it. So for me, I'm not ready to lose my ovaries and take it out, because I read somewhere that it has a way of affecting your bones and your heart. I'm 42. Maybe down the line, if it's still... I get where she's coming from, because for the rest of your life, you're always going to be thinking, are you... Because you're not term cancer-free until you don't have it for 7 to 10 years for this own cancer, not at the second one, for this particular. So I'm going to do the whole 3 months when I finish my radiotherapy, then 6 months, then 2 years, then 1 year before. So when I do that, that's when I'm in remission. So when I'm in remission for 7 to 10 years, I am cancer-free. So it's always going to be a journey. It's always going to be okay, we are going back to look at it though. We pray to God, because nobody knows what causes it. Even
the thing is, it's a journey, but I like the people who are driving the bus, the vehicle, whatever it is. The two of you, if everyone, take it the way you're taking it, we'll all be having party every now and then.
And have you noticed they've both become doctors already?
Oh, yes.
Mini doctors.
Yeah, we do health navigation all the time, because you're telling people how to react and respond to the diagnosis they've received. You are giving them life competency skills, especially resilience skills for them to, and then you are directing them on the right places to go to obtain treatment. Even if they want alternative, we encourage them to take.
This is what
this is what I did, and that's why I am still here. So don't be afraid, take it, because there's a lot of rumor and myths out there. Like if you take injection, you will die. If you take chemo, it will kill you.
If they do operation,
all of
you will die.
People die because they diagnose late.
Yes. We generally believe if you go to the hospital, they are going to give you the sickness you don't have, and then you will die.
Okay, I'm going to wear my wig.
All right, so while you're doing that, let's see. We have
because that's another thing. Cold.
Yes.
Makes my head very cold.
Okay. Rollins. I'm really enjoying your talk. This is an eye-opener. God bless you people. Thank you very much, Rollins. For us, all of us, it's an eye-opener, and we intend to keep our eyes open. I am Favor. Can a man have cancer? Of course, men have cancer. Plenty.
Even breast cancer, men have breast cancer.
Some men are beginning to have...
scheduled to travel out too. He's also cancerous. My elder brother.
All right, let's see. I am Elder Abuchi Ikegwonu from Bend, the local government area of Abia State. These are quite regular with us. Please, 1, what are the preventive therapy to breast cancer? 2, the women in the village, can roots and herb be used in the treatment? I don't know about that. Did you try roots? What you are doing is actually roots and herbs. When you talk about your smoothie,
it's an integrated approach to treatment, where you are eating all the natural foods, to complement the medicals, that you're obtaining from the hospital.
I think we have this misconception of these roots.
Preventive.
Especially in Nigeria, we just automatically believe that these roots are bad or they are something else. We have this mentality of this babalawo thing. So when you begin to talk about roots, and you begin to think of those things. But I think, whether we like it or not, all the veggies we're eating, whatsoever, all these natural things we're eating, they are part of the roots.
They are roots and
we need
herbs.
to have an understanding of what these things really are, so that we don't fall into this deceptive mood that no, it has to be, you have to take the drugs and not take this. They are all part of the
I still want to believe that.
Some
Go
natural
ahead.
things block the action, the properties that are active in chemo. So it is advisable that
to
when
talk to your
people
doctor.
are in chemo, they shouldn't just take anything in random.
Tell your doctor.
Because they could be blocking the
treatment.
treatment.
What it's meant to do for you.
Yes.
And as regards to, is there anything to prevent cancer? The thing is, you don't even know what causes cancer. So cancer is basically, our bodies produce cells. But unfortunately, when it doesn't divide well, after a while, it could. Please, nobody should quote me. It could become cancerous. No, because people have a way of taking these things, and we don't know the processes in our body. Some is hereditary, some is somebody must have had it in your family. Like my aunt had it, but she's still alive. She's almost 100, and she's in the UK. But when I told my uncle, he said, but it's not at this age. So you're not even sure what causes it. It could be one thing for one person, another thing. All I know is that the cells that are supposed to divide evenly, sometimes they don't.
All right.
So
I generally healthy living, from what the two have actually told us, it's important we do healthy living, do your exercises, go back to the roots and help by way of eating, leave packaged food, leave tin food. That way we can ensure that we are at least doing our own part in staying healthy. We'll take a little break now, pay some bills. When we come back, the show continues. Don't go away.
Bye. Bye.
Don't worry, dear. I'll take care of it. How do you manage to keep your fabric so white? Wow! And how do you manage to keep your house this clean?
I always use Hypo to make our white clothes whiter and to keep our home clean and germ-free.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your home free of illness causing viruses and germs with the disinfecting power of Hypo Bleach.
Help make nights rest-filled by keeping baby's bum dry all night with Huggies Dry Comfort. With our stretchy waistband and super absorbent core, Huggies Dry Comfort provides all-night dryness and comfort to make nighttime rest-filled for baby and you. Huggies, for all-night dryness and comfort. Help make nights rest-filled by keeping baby's bum dry all night with Huggies Dry Comfort. With our stretchy waistband and super absorbent core, Huggies Dry Comfort provides all-night dryness and comfort to make nighttime rest-filled for baby and you. Huggies, for all-night dryness and comfort.
Not all washing powders are the same. Sunlight adds bursts of freshness to cleaning power to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and freshness that lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1, sensational cleaning with burst after burst of freshness. Introducing Sunlight with luxurious oud fragrance.
Conversations. A lot of people are writing in. I'll quickly take a handful at once, then we quickly react to it before we go. Let's see. My name is Mike, and I'm writing from Benue State. I want to know more about vaginal discharge with smelling odor. Could it be a sign of cancer? We'll take the next one. It says, I have a lump in my breast. My chest has been paining me, and I do not have money to go to the hospital. Okay, I don't know who this person is, and didn't write his name. Okay, let's see. The next one says, good morning. My name is Bright. Please, I need more help on this topic. And let's quickly react to the lump one first before we continue. Somebody who says he has a lump in the breast and doesn't have money to go. Are there NGOs? Are there places, help centers? What can we do to help?
Yeah, there are foundations that support people who can't afford treatment, even diagnosis. But they can only step in when somebody has gone to a healthcare facility and they've been diagnosed. Because they are cancer foundation. They are not going to start throwing the money where it hasn't been established. So it may not be cancer. And if they do that, they'll be depriving the cancer patients of the opportunities. Yeah. So this person needs to go to the healthcare center.
Or for me, if you could go to one of those labs and ask them to just do a normal scan, you don't have to go to a hospital first, because I think the hospital will still refer you to go to a lab and do a scan. So when you get a scan, then your results, the lab attendant can tell you what your results are. It might not be, it might just be fear. And that's another thing. There's always fear. So it might not be anything. So you don't have to go to a hospital first. You could just go to a laboratory, have them do a scan for you. It's not that
diagnostic centers.
Diagnostic centers.
Some are not good. Some will give you a result that will cost you. So it's a 50-50 thing. Tell you nothing wrong.
I know.
So if you're using a diagnostic center, please go to a credible one.
A credible one. But it does reduce the cost of going to a hospital and whatever. So it's just.
All right. Somebody says here that he's writing it from Mkporo in Ohafia local government area, and he's advocating that we eat more of soursop, which is popularly known as a chop chop. It works like magic. I don't know. Yeah. That's still like going back to the roots. Well, maybe I'll just take 1 or 2 seconds of your final words, advice to a lot of women who are watching at the moment.
Yeah, mine will be to encourage women not to be in toxic relationships. Because if we're in toxic relationships, we are depressed most of the time and angry and bitter, and that in turn affects our immunity. Yeah. And so we are not able to fight off the radicals that are made in our body, because everybody walks around with cancer cells at one point in time or the other. Then they are able to deal with all of that if they are optimally healthy, if their immune system is great.
Okay, so we need to always be happy.
Bad relationship,
quit it.
Do something about it.
All right?
Yeah, and I agree with her. And just be generally happy. And it doesn't cost much to do a checkup.
Okay.
Every time. We get so busy, we get so overwhelmed, we get to take time out to
love
self-love.
Yourself. Okay.
Believe me, after my chemo, I traveled for a week, went to go see my friend, something I hadn't done because I felt guilty of, my children, but believe me, they were fine. Just 2-3 days.
Right.
And for me, I would just say, please speak out.
Yes.
You know, when you talk to people like this, when you hear other people's story, it encourages you. It gives you the strength and the stamina to stand. Whether it's cancer or it's not cancer, whatever
it is, you must find strength in speaking to one another. Yeah. If they say problem shared is already half solved. Yeah. I'll see you again next week. My name is Elizabeth. I've been talking on cancer. There's no end to it. What I advise you to do is love yourself. If you love yourself, you get to feel better on the inside. Bye for now.
Lagos, the center of excellence. A tropical city surrounded by the turquoise Atlantic Ocean, a bounty of natural beauty with miles of pristine beaches, rich culture, and amazing people. Come and enjoy what Africa's fastest growing city has to offer. Explore a city with fantastic historical past and an even brighter future. Today is only the beginning. So much lies ahead. See tomorrow. One Lagos.
Yauri is an ancient kingdom with rich cultural heritage located in Kebbi State, northwestern Nigeria. It is considered as one of the most important states of the Hausa-speaking people and the chief trade center in northwestern Nigeria. The Yauri Emirate is a small but powerful kingdom in the south of the Sahara. It borders Nupe to the south and Kebbi Kingdom to the north. It is the oldest kingdom in Kebbi State.
Yauri is a fantastic place, not because I am an indigent. This is the most peaceful, the most friendly environment you can find. I have a slogan, Yauri, home for all.
The Regatta Festival of the Yauri people is a unique cultural extravaganza. Regatta is a word which means marine war. The word connotes buoyance and prestige. The celebration is a colorful display of culture full of pomp and dexterity. The 200-year-old festival demonstrates the naval strength of the Gungu people of Yauri as highly skilled Gungu warriors attacked dangerous hippopotamus that were destroying farmlands.
That has been started in this area more than 200 years ago. Initially, it was like a navy. People attack wild animals like hippopotamus and crocodiles in the river to show their expertise and row the boat.
The festival started when a flotilla of boats carrying warriors were used to protect bridle trains from wild animals. Today, the Regatta Festival is a prestigious display of wealth, power, and influence during wedding ceremonies, demonstrating the level of importance the people of Yauri attach to the women folk and particularly a bride during her wedding.
The festival was now turned into ceremony. They bring the bride to the house, they will escort the bride, use those same dances of Regatta to celebrate the marriage.
You will be thrilled by a variety of traditional cultural dances and display from various communities of the Emirate. Each community displays cultural dances unique to them. Some of these dances and displays are over 500 years old, handed down from one generation to another.
It is one event that will create so many opportunities. We're going to start to have investors come in. We're going to start to create jobs. Beyond that, if it is properly managed, it is going to be a money spinner for our emirate, for Kebbi, and even the country at large.
The festival features captivating water events and sporting competitions that will keep you at the edge of your seats, such as the swimming competition and the Nutsa, which is a form of water sport where contestants submerge themselves in the river to determine who can stay underwater for longer. This measures their stamina and endurance. The competitor who remains submerged the longest is declared winner. Another famous attraction of the festival is the floating gourd race, where contestants on floating calabash race across the river, struggling to stay afloat. Children are not left out of the fun as they are placed in plastic bowls, paddling with their hands towards shore. Not forgetting the trailing canoe race, which is one of the major events of the festival. Essentially, the Regatta Festival is about the uniqueness, honor, and high esteem with which the people of Yauri attach to women, and also an exciting cultural and social-economic carnival of the day.
NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
every successful baker is a product of hard work. Many that started their baking business from scratch had been through ups and downs without giving up. Such bakers only focus on arriving at a desirable destination in the baking industry. You're watching Baker's World on NTA. I am Funke Oyeyele. Many thanks for watching. You'll be having a delightful learning experience on the show as we expose you to a cake recipe that is not common. We have a professional baker who's been in the cake making business for over a decade. She'll be sharing with you her success secrets in the business. We'll also bring you some gist of what happened at a cake show in Abuja. We are set to inspire, educate, and entertain you on this episode of Baker's World. So just relax and enjoy it. I am glad to introduce to you our baker, Omolara Olatunji, and our assistant, who will both be showing us how to make a delicious Italian cream cake. And this is one cake recipe you will love to try in a hurry. So please relax and enjoy it.
We want to observe our hygiene. First, I start from my butter. I'll be adding my vegetable shortening. Next is my sugar. Then I turn the mixture all together. The creaming will be done until it is light and fluffy. Now I'm going to introduce my flavor into the batter. The next thing in the line of action is to introduce my egg yolk one at a time. The mixing will continue in this manner for a while. The next thing I'm going to add is the combination of my flour, my baking soda, and my salt. I am adding the buttermilk now. I'm going to stop the mixer now and whisk my egg white until it gives me a stiff kick. If you want to know if you got the right pick, you can flip it up, and if it doesn't fall, that means you've got to the pick stage. Now I'm going to add the coconut flakes. I'm going to add a quarter part of this egg whites into the batter. I'm folding this one in first. Gradually. I'm adding another part. Then I will put the butter inside the pan, ready for the oven.
While we're waiting for our cake to be ready, we'll take a quick break here, and when we return, we'll be having a chat with our guest baker.
You learn to unlearn and to relearn. Don't rely on what you have learned 10 years ago. It might not be appropriate for this generation that we find ourselves. Then get how to use technology to your own advantage. Then business education is very, very important.
Our guest today is a sugarcraft artist and businesswoman. Born on the 8th of November in the small town of Ibara, Remo, Omolara Olatunji attended Urban Day Grammar School, Elekuro, in the city of Ibadan. For her tertiary education, she attended Ogun State Polytechnic, now Moshood Abiola Polytechnic. There, she gained her certificate in food science and technology before proceeding further to obtain a Bachelor of Science degree in the same course at the University of Ibadan. Omolara has always loved the culinary arts and had her beginner's informal training in her mother's kitchen. She, however, did not start cake making as a full-time business until 1996, after she got married and found herself at home alone in a new city with nothing to do. At this point, she could not help but get back to her first love of cake making. With her primary skills in baking, she ventured into cake making as a business. In order to step up her game, she attended several courses in baking and sugarcraft from Wilton and other well-known bakers. Today, Omolara has not only expanded her cake business, but has also ventured into event management. She's married to Mr. Joshua Olatunji and blessed with 3 beautiful children. She's the CEO of Jolakins Cakes and plans to become a household brand in the country. Join us as we chat with the gentle, kind, and industrious baker, Omolara Olatunji.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on Baker's World. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you so much.
It's been over a decade in this business. Can you tell us, how did you venture into this business?
Well, actually, I started baking very long time ago when I did not know my left to the right, when I used my hand to carry sugar, use spoon to scoop butter or margarine, use milk cup as my baking pan, my mother's pots as my oven. But now I know much more better. I do things in a professional way.
Can you share with us your experience in this business so far?
Yes, it has been a transformational experience over the years. From where I only know how to do only sponge cake, to doing different types of cake, having different types of clients, do multiple work in a day, in a week, in a month, and from handling difficult clients to the simple ones, to the hard one, to the soft one, to the one that will encourage you to do better, and to the one that will treat you like trash. It has been an awesome experience, and we are still growing the business.
Tell us, what has been your source of inspiration and strength?
I will say God, number one, God, number two, God, number three. Then I will say my family has been the biggest inspiration, because they push me to become a better person in business, a better entrepreneur, a better baker. They've been able to give me all the support that is needed, both at home and in the business field.
Okay. I want you to share with us some success tips, those things that have helped you along in this business.
Prompt delivery. You have to make sure that you deliver your cake in a very good time. Lateness is not allowed, unlike in other professions. Then you equally need to invest in yourself, as in form of training and in form of tools. You don't hit all the money. When you get your profits, you put some into tools, into training, then you put some into material so that you can grow in the business. Don't be too timid or be too full of yourself to ask questions, even from the little that are just growing up. Some might be privileged to know better than you, or somebody has been able to invest in them, or they have money, or they are one advantage or the other. Thereby they know more than you. Don't be too proud. You can humble yourself, ask questions, and when you need to pay, do the talking, and the rest becomes your home property to start trading with. These and more are the success tips that I have followed over the years that has helped me.
How have you been able to balance your work life and your family life all together? Because I know as a baker, a successful baker, you've been very busy and you're always busy. How do you balance it up?
It's not easy. As a baker, there's no closing time. But I would advise every baker to have a closing time, so that by the time you win the millions and the dollars outside there, you don't lose your family. So you must know how to balance up. And God has actually helped me to know when it's time for family, I give it to the family. And when it's time for business, I'm for business.
Thank you so much for having this chat with us. It's really been a great pleasure.
Thank you so much.
That was our conversation with the CEO of Jolakin Integrated Venture, Mrs. Omolara Olatunji. I hope you've been inspired by our success tips. Up next is Baker's Gist. Here are some excerpts from a cake show in Abuja for your viewing pleasure. Stay tuned.
Actually, the rose signifies love in anything. So if you are doing a wedding, elegant wedding cake, if you don't have a rose in it, it's not complete.
this cake, is it usually meant for a wedding cake?
Yes, we depict this one for a couple. Our intention is that these are the couple and this like their garden, just depicting their home. Like we have a lot of flowers in the garden, they can come there to relax, and this is a castle where the both of them are having their very good time. So mostly, if you want to perfect a wedding cake, like once you have a gazebo castle on it, just know that you're talking about a couple.
This design is made from royal icing. So we use royal icing and piping bag and nozzles to give it different shape of designs on this ones and this ones all. These ones all, these ones and these ones, they are all royal icing. So the different design.
How did you make it like stick together from one angle to the other, then to the other? It looks like it's a lot of work. Was it difficult, and how were you able to make them join? I mean, I can touch it and it looks a bit strong. Not that I'll apply too much pressure. It looks strong. How were you able to join them together, and how difficult is it?
It's just like artists. So we are used to it. It's not difficult. So to eat is a simple thing to us.
This is sugar modeling. They are all made with sugar. They are all figurine and toppers. Everything about this is edible, is sugar. Then this is another wonderful flower bouquet. All these are edible, they are all sugar flowers. We have the exotic sunflower, we have the peony, we have the roses, and a lot of them. This is stenciling technique. This is achieved with the use of mold. Then we have the couple in a sugar gazebo up there. This is another work piece made by myself. The inspiration behind this is my father of blessed memory. He was the one that ignited my passion in the baking industry. In his days, he loves to take pastries. He will ask me to make snacks for him as nightcap. From there, I keep improving before I'm able to stand on my own. That's my father's face, let me put it. No, he too used to be a chef in his day. Everything you see here is done with sugar. And this is a cake which we will all eat at the end of the event.
We start decorating our Italian cream cake with buttercream frosting with spreadable creamy cheese filling. Adding the creamy cheese on the next layer. So now I'm going to make use of my palette knife to remove the excess that I'm having. Okay. Now I'm going to have some fondant embellishment here, which I'm going to apply on the cake. I have some bowls I'm going to put at the top. Here comes our Italian cream Christmas cake.
Wow, 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 wow. This is really, really, really beautiful. Good job. Well done. I love the color especially. It really complements very well, but I need to have a taste. So. Fantastic cake. Very, very delicious. You want to have a taste of this cake that I'm savoring right now? All you need to do is follow all the step-by-step procedure that our baker and our assistant have showed us today, and you can have a yummy, delicious treat like this. Well, that's all we have for you today in Baker's World. I hope that you've enjoyed it and found it as exciting and interesting as I have. So we'll come your way next week with a more exciting episode. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also email us on our Gmail account. It's Baker's World on NTA. Till next week, I am Funke Oyele. Bye for now.
NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
Lives are in your hands while you drive. Protect yourself and others on the road. Road Matters, shown on the network service of the NTA. Join us.
Hello and welcome. These are the stories trending on the hour. I'm Comfort Amadu. We begin with a story on the police command reassuring residents of adequate protection of lives and property in the Federal Capital Territory. And this reassurance is necessitated by a viral publication on social media suggesting areas within the FCT is vulnerable to Boko Haram attack. The command says, on the contrary, it has deployed covert and overt strategies to curb banditry and other criminal activities across the territory. It implores residents to report all suspicious movements, emergency or distress to the police. Meanwhile, armed members of the IPOB Eastern Security Network, ES, and terrorists that stormed the area command of the Nigerian police in Olu local government area of Imo State have been eliminated. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Mohammed Yeruma, says the invaders were repelled by the police personnel, reinforcement from the Nigerian Army and Air Force. The criminals, the Nigerian Army explained, have been on the radar of the Joint Technical Intelligence Team were from a forest camp in Idiato North local government area of Imo State, and where they planned the failed attack. Now to health. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control has confirmed 39 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria as at the 7th of May 2021. A breakdown indicates that Lagos recorded 23 cases. There are FCT 4, Kano 4, Zamfara 4, Akwa Ibom, Gombe, Nasarawa and Plateau each recorded one new case. 165,340 confirmed cases, 155,454 discharged, and the death toll at 2,065. Now, Sri Lanka on Saturday approved Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use as the island nation battles a third wave of the virus, while suffering a restricted supply of vaccines from the neighboring India. Dr. Sudha Shani Fernando Puli, the minister overseeing the fight against the epidemic, said in a statement the government would order 5 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine. And Sri Lanka is seeking to secure all the vaccines as the Serum Institute of India, the world's largest vaccine manufacturers, has suspended the delivery of AstraZeneca's COVID Shield vaccine due to spiraling coronavirus infections in India. Meanwhile, India on Saturday reported its highest ever single-day COVID-19 death toll as cases continue to rise and states impose stricter lockdowns. India's health minister reported 4,187 fatalities over the past 24 hours, taking the overall death toll to just under 240,000 cases, rose by 401,078, increasing the total number since the start of the pandemic to 21.9 million. Medical experts say the real number of COVID-19 cases and fatalities are likely to be far higher than official tallies. And those are the stories trending on the hour. Thanks for watching. I'm Comfort Amadu.
This is the network service of the NTA.